can do this a couple ways. If you have your camera on and want to keep your camera on, then that's probably the easier way. So everyone on the camera, raise your left hand so we can see if everyone's left hands are on the same side.
It depends if you have your mirroring on or not. Brooke,
Okay.
there you go.
Mine looks backwards to me. Is it backwards to other people, or does it just seem backwards with your own?
Yeah, it's backwards with my
backwards for your own. Okay, so everyone's left hands are all on the same side, except for when you're looking at yourself, which seems opposite. Okay, now everyone raise their right hand just to make sure that we're all good. Okay, so we're going to do this way. So for your right hand is going to be option 1. So if you are so inclined, you can even write it on your finger, write it on your palms if you'd like to. So option 1 is on our right hand. And option 2, oh, this pen is dying on me. Let me get another pen. Option 2 is your left hand. And I'm just going to label it so that you can see them. 1 and 2, very poorly. I should have used a marker. I don't have one with me though. All right, so we're going to play a game that's just called this or that. So I am going to say something. The first one is 1, the second one is 2, and we're just going to get to know silly little things about our preferences for things. Don't worry, none of them are too risque. So the first one, do you prefer tacos or hamburgers? All right, we got a bit of a split on this one. Personally, I believe tacos are the best food in the entire world and that everything should be put into a taco. However, those of you that like burgers, that's fine too. You can do that. All right, and you guys can unmute and comment on this. It's supposed to just be fun. We're not, talking about finance right now. Okay, do you prefer snow or sand?
Oh.
All right, a mix here too. I personally hate sand. I always say that I'm like Anakin Skywalker and that sand is just coarse and gritty and gets into everything. And I hate how I find it in my clothes like 4 days later. So we're going with snow. But Dave, I see that you like both. Do you want to tell us why?
I just like them both equally. You can't enjoy one without the other, I find, Appreciate the summer a lot more when you have winter, and there's lots of things I like to do in both seasons. So
that's deep. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Are you a creative thinker or a logical thinker? Gotta get those hands up. Creative or logical? Okay. Anyone want to comment? Oh, Cecilia, you're both. Do you want to tell us about that?
It's difficult.
Your mind's constantly in conflict with itself.
Oh. There we go.
Jenny, for you just joining us, we're playing this or that. So you raise your right hand if you choose number 1, and you raise your left hand if you're choosing number 2. If you would rather do it on reactions, everyone, also, you can do a heart for number 1 and a party ta-da for number 2, if that's more comfortable for you. All right, are you an introvert or an extrovert? Okay, you can't be both. Yeah, this is not a game of fist bumping here, people. You got to choose one.
No, it totally is.
Ambiverts. Yeah.
Ambivert. Okay.
Yeah.
Today, are you feeling more introverted or extroverted to my ambiverted friends?
It's still just both. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Honestly,
I can't pick.
Interesting. We got some surprising. Evody, I'm surprised to hear that you're an introvert, being a TV show host.
I actually just found that out probably the past couple of months, that I'm very personable, charismatic, but I don't like being around people for too long. Like when I'm there, I give everything I have if I'm around people, but like it's essential, it's necessary for me to have my alone time to reflect, and that's where the creative, like deep philosophical stuff comes in. And I just like being alone. Like I'm not really a people person. I'm an idea person.
That is very fair.
Yeah.
I've heard it explained to me before that it's all about where you get your energy, not about how much you like people. So if you get your energy by recharging by being alone, you're probably an introvert. If you're really energized when you have a great conversation with a friend or a colleague, you're probably an extrovert. So it's just where you recharge. And poor Dave and Jenny know that I am definitely an extrovert because when they leave me alone in the office all day, I just go a little bit batty. So this has been a great year and a half. All right, switching gears a little bit. Do you prefer the Addams Family or the Simpsons?
I've actually never watched either.
Well,
Fun
you don't have to put
fact.
any hands up then.
I don't like either.
All right, we're kind of a bust on that one. Let's do a different TV one. Do you prefer the Marvel or the DC universe?
I don't know either.
That's not
I
even
was making Star Wars jokes earlier, and then no one's listening. Ugh, all right,
I know
all right.
that-
Let's get out of the TV one. I had one about Harry Potter here too, but okay. Would you prefer to be in a water balloon fight or a water gun fight? I just feel like I have better aim with a water gun. A water balloon, I'm probably gonna get hurt.
That's the more fun part.
You probably like paintball too, don't you?
I'm terrible at it, but it is fun.
It sounds so terrible. All right. If you found yourself in a fictional fight, would you prefer to have nunchucks or a throwing star?
What are nunchucks again?
They're the things that are the two sticks with a chain in the middle, and you whip them around.
Tough. That's really tough.
I feel like I would just hurt myself with nunchucks, so I'm going with throwing stars.
Yeah, I
I
feel
don't
like I
have
would
good enough
definitely
aim for a
miss.
throwing star. Yeah,
Like a throwing star, I'd be like, oh.
That
exactly.
old that ninja guy that knocks himself out and then tries to do a backflip, that old YouTube video. Do you guys remember?
Yeah, I remember that one.
That's what I think of when I think of nunchucks.
Tracy, this one's for you and your kids. Do you prefer a T-Rex or a Triceratops? Oh, we've got a mix there. Yeah, I posted something on Instagram recently. I don't know if you're all Parks and Recs fans, but I did promise to make jokes that were relevant to my age category of that Jurassic Park would have worked if Leslie Knope had run it, and I truly believe that.
I did see that. That's funny. So true.
All right, are you a morning person or a night person? Steve didn't have to think about that one very hard.
Yeah, farmer. Yeah.
He's like, up at 4 every day.
Wow, a lot more morning people than
Oh, way more morning people, which is funny because we put this in the afternoon because last year we had such a hard time getting people online for 9 a.m. And now we've got a whole cohort of morning people. We can't win for losing. All right. Oh, Dave, this one's for you. Do you prefer Mac or PC?
Oh, that's an easy one. It's a good mix.
It is a good mix. Hi to my PC friends. I never have any backing in Leap Junction because everybody else likes Macs. But my computer can do things that theirs can't, so. All right, if you were going to go get a snack later today, would you be choosing something salty or sweet?
Ooh.
No. There's no ambidextrous snackers here. Oh,
I
Are you
like
saying we
chocolate.
can't have more than one snack?
you can have as many snacks as you want. You're absolutely right. But for this particular snack, we're choosing.
Oh, you need coffee? Yeah. Thanks. We love you.
All right. Nice mix again. Very good. Or you could get like a chocolate covered pretzel or something and then get the best of both worlds. I guess that's what the two hands are.
That's what I was gonna say. I'm like, chocolate covered pretzels are like the
Mm.
best of both worlds.
They are indeed. They are delicious.
Thanks, Jenny. I forgot to turn the mic off.
All right. Would you prefer to, on this lovely day, have a beer or a glass of wine? Or neither?
I don't drink. I would rather have orange juice.
And de-alcoholized beer or a glass of grape juice?
Grape juice.
Grape juice. You look like trying to say something, Evity.
Yeah, I don't really drink either, but
Yeah, that's fine.
I would like some cold water. Cold water on a day like this.
Water.
All right, let's.
Obsessed with water.
How about tea or coffee?
Oh, tea for sure.
Okay. I also like tea. Actually, more tea drinkers here than I thought there'd be.
I
Very
can't make a
nice.
decision on that. I like live off both.
Well,
Like early in the morning, coffee.
sure. First caffeinated beverage of the day. Okay, just a few more. You're procrastinating doing your deliverables for Leap In. Are you scrolling on Instagram or Twitter?
You're just shaking his head. Neither. Steve's a TikTok guy for sure.
Yeah, it's
Definitely. I
neither
see
for
that
me.
with Steve. I actually think TikTok would do well for Proofline Dairy. I would actually follow that channel. All
YouTube
right.
for me.
Yeah. Are you a dog or a cat person?
Of course, my cat leaves just as you ask that question.
Right,
Yeah.
naturally. Lots of dog people. Awesome. All right. And then let's do hang on, I gotta get this right. Are you right-handed or left-handed? I was like, wait, are these the right hands? All right.
Only one lefty that we can see in the bunch.
Tracy, you're ambidextrous?
Yeah, I do like my writing with my right hand, but I do any like art or cleaning or like archery, gun shooting, anything like that with my left.
Oh, that's cool.
It's really weird.
Very nice. All right, and last one. The world has opened up and we are all able to go on vacation. Are you heading north or south?
Aren't we north?
Yeah, but you can still go somewhere north.
Okay.
You can go
There's
freezing.
always, there's always up.
Wow.
Awesome. Yeah, I wanna go travel in Scandinavia. I think that sounds like a great time for me.
Oh, I was just thinking of America. I put myself in a box there. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for playing with me. This has been a Would You Rather hand raising edition. And it's always fun to get to know just a little bit more about you. We will have other icebreakers. And if you have any other this or that's that you'd like added to this list for the next group that you think are funny or silly, or you'd like to subject other people to the horror of having to listen to me read, please feel free to send those along in our Discord chat. With that, I shall turn it over to you, Dave.
Thank you very much, Kelsey. All right, let me just switch screens here really quickly. Okay. I want to see all your lovely faces. Awesome. So today, guys, we are talking about planning the product and/or service for your business. So we're going to get into our business plan in today's session. So we're going to be going over some specific things that are going to have to go into your business plan around the product or service plan section. So obviously at this point, you've created, you've refined your business concept, and that's what we focused on in the first 3 modules of the program. During the next many modules that are left, you're going to focus on planning your business and writing the plan. And the first step in that isn't going to, following it with the table of contents and doing executive summary, mission statement, all those things. We jump right into your product or service. So key outcomes of today's presentation, we're going to go, key outcomes of this module is going to be a description, very detailed description of your product and service that is focused on the benefits from the customer's perspective. You're going to have a detailed business model, and then you're going to have a written product and service plan. So we're going to go over about 5 different sections through today's presentation. And sorry, guys, no guest speaker today. You are stuck with me, unfortunately. So we're going to cover first the product and service plan elements with a focus on features and benefits. We're going to elaborate on what we talked about in the first week. We're going to talk a little bit around competitive advantage, business models, the business plan, and then we'll go over the couple of action steps involved in this module. So let's jump into the product and service plan. So obviously writing the business plan is kind of a final test of feasibility before you really jump into launching and growing your business. And the product and service plan is where you will begin to start working on the business plan. This product and service plan should be completed only after your product or your services have been all worked out in detail. Now, the purpose of the product and service plan is to communicate all the key attributes of what you offer, to describe the features and the corresponding benefits of your offering, to identify any intellectual property rights that you might have, as well as highlight any pertinent information such as government approvals, production, facilities, suppliers, and planned improvements. We'll go over this more in detail afterward. But your plan should make it clear that your product works and is ready to go. All other technical information about your product or service will go in the appendix. That's for your readers who want tech specs. Now, there are 11 key elements of the product and service plan. The first 5 are, first discovering the purpose of what you offer, the features and benefits, what stage of development you are at currently, your product and service limitations, as well as your possible liability and risk, production, facilities, suppliers, related products and service spin-offs that you're creating, and then a section for trademarks, patents, copyrights, royalties or licenses. And then lastly, anything around your kind of permits, government approvals, things like that, that you may or may not have to establish. So before we jump into, going over those sections in a little bit more detail, let's quickly chat about the first part, which is about defining the purpose of your product or service, because this can actually sometimes be a little bit difficult for entrepreneurs. So looks like Ashley's coming back in here. Okay. So what is the purpose of your product and service? This question is supposed to get to the core of your product or service description. And describing your product or service well involves first truly understanding what problem that your product or service is solving for your customers. If you can describe the purpose of the product or service in terms of the problem it solves, then you'll have a better chance of helping your customer view your offering from their standpoint. So it should focus on a problem that you are solving for the customer from their point of view. You need to make sure to emphasize the benefits or value your product or service creates. So don't forget to list the key attributes as well as any unique features that set you apart from your competitors. Things like testimonials or results from marketing surveys that you're going to conduct or focus groups, these things help to highlight the problems that your product or service will help solve. So remember, one of the tests of market feasibility, which we were talking about yesterday, is whether your business concept solves a problem or meets a need in the marketplace. So if your business solves a problem for your customers, you should highlight that aspect in your business plan. If you recall, in week 1, we talked a bit about the differences between features and benefits. We learned that features tell and benefits sell. Now, to refresh your memory, benefits essentially are the reason customers will buy your product and service. We talked about, I think, looks like Josh is coming in. We talked about last week about the oven example. Okay, so for example, some ovens, some of the benefits of ovens to buyers include safety, ease of use, affordability, or in the case of many ovens that feature stainless steel casings, prestige, right? Features are more or less the characteristics that your product or service has. For example, if we're using ovens again, like we talked about last week, some ovens include, self-cleaning, smooth stovetops, warming bins, convection capabilities. So it's important to understand the differences because you need both to sell what you're offering. Now, you should also think about unique features. These are things that are highly valued by customers, and they result in increased marketability if you have something that is unique. And marketability, well, that leads to profitability. The uniqueness of a product or service sets it apart from its competition. Unique features are important, okay? So they help explain what a product or service does or has that other products do not have. So unless your product or service is a necessity, unless it's a necessity, customers will focus primarily on benefits when they're making a purchasing decision. So I have a picture here. So I'm going to ask you guys here, give me some reasons why you would buy this, an iPad Pro. Anybody?
It looks I'm looking for the word, easy to use.
Cool.
And it's like, convenience. There you go.
Okay, awesome. So that would be a benefit. And anybody else? Why would you buy it?
They're nice to draw on.
Right. The fact that you can draw on it, well, that's a feature, right? Definitely. I want one of these so bad, but I'm a terrible artist. I just think it's so cool. Anybody else? Why else might you buy something like this?
Compatibility with other devices.
Okay. Another feature.
I like the size of like the screen. It's not like really small.
Okay. So why do you like the size of the screen? Why do you like it being small? What does that do for you?
So with regards to like drawing and doing art, like you can't have it too big because then you're like moving your whole arm and you want to just be like,
okay.
Yeah, Maisie doesn't agree with me, kind of, but she kind of does, but kind of doesn't. I like doing like small work, but that's just personal preference.
Depends on the person.
So the size for you is more related to the feature of being able to write on it. Whereas me, I think the size for me is all about the portability and convenience or travel, like being able to travel with it and take it with me. So more of a benefit. Anybody else?
It's like a computer and a tablet. It's got like, and it has that like little mouse pad thing. I really like it, and it stands up on itself. They've got really good marketing here.
Definitely. So for you, it's kind of the best of both worlds, best of two kind of different devices, right? So both a benefit and a feature in there, right? Anybody else? No? Okay. Oh, Cecilia said smaller and lighter than a laptop. Definitely. So, sorry, go ahead, Evie.
The flexibility and versatility of it, where I can work on my desk, or I can work like in different places laying down, because I could just take it and touch the screen, or I can type at the same time. So it's very flexible and versatile.
So you're looking for that mobility, that flexibility, which is a benefit for you. Awesome. So what I'm trying to point out here, guys, is that, typically the features are the nice to haves. You need to have all of those features to sell something, but the benefits are what people are looking for. Customers buy benefits, not feature. They buy those outcomes. It's the best of both worlds, right? It's both a PC or both a computer and a tablet, okay? Although we're talking about, kind of features in there, the benefit to you is that you're doing kind of a cost benefit analysis of it. Oh, I don't want to buy both. I need to buy one. It needs to have these things. It needs to have that thing. There's a lot of weighing that goes into that decision. So you need to make sure you look at your products and services from the customer's perspective. So, and it was Jenny who said that, right? So from her perspective, it's important that it has both the capability of a tablet and the capability of a computer, right? You need to understand this about your customers so that you can develop an understanding of what features and benefits that you should be highlighting. Some entrepreneurs, they get really enthralled with features of a product or service, and you lose sight of the fact that customers actually buy benefits. That's what you got to bang them over the head with, right? think of a lottery, the lottery industry, for example, right? When Lotto 649 shows a commercial, they're not talking about the tech specs of buying a lottery ticket. All they tell you about is the outcome, the benefit that you get. You get a better life, right? You get freedom, you get a house, you get money to give to your family, or these things. They're selling the outcomes, they're selling those benefits, and that's what our customers really value. So to build on our discussion of features and benefits that we started in week 1, we're going to identify the features and benefits of your products or services and what uniqueness it provides by doing the features and benefits reality check on page 109. So if you haven't, please right now go to FOL and download either the PDF or the Word doc. I will also put it in the chat, but you'll probably be faster than me. You'll need the readings for today to kind of do this reality check. So just give me 1 second. I'm going to throw it up in here for you guys, or just jump onto FOL and grab it. Here is the PDF. And here is the Word doc for you. So what we are going to do is we're going to take about 10 minutes here, and you're going to use the first 5 minutes to fill in on page 138 as many unique features and benefits that you can think of for your offering, for your business, okay? And don't be afraid to do stacking. Stacking is when we stack benefits together. So you provide more than one benefit for each feature that you can think of, okay? And that's a great way to do it. So you list a feature, what are the benefits of that feature? Because it's usually more than one thing, okay? Like Evity said, was flexibility, versatility, portability, right? There's always different ways we can describe things. So we'll then break into smaller groups of 3 for 5 minutes after you've completed this. And you're just going to share your responses with your other group members and try to offer additional insights, as well as suggestions of other words you might use to describe your benefits and features, or other things you might just be, you want to tell other people what they might be missing. Maybe you see a different benefit. Okay, so let's take 5 minutes right now. And if you can't get the file open or something like that, just let me know. But we'll take 5 minutes right now and start listing as many unique features and benefits that you can think of for your business. All right, go.
She has a lot of like diverse customers that aren't like religious people, and how she would like say it without leaving anyone out. I don't really know. Maybe Cecilia should talk about it.
Yeah, I was just saying that the feature is modest clothing, and the benefit is that women can feel more comfortable and confident. And what he was saying, I should tie in like morals and values and stuff, which I get, but I also struggle with, because I don't want anyone to feel like they don't have morals or values if they don't dress modestly, if that makes sense.
That's a tough.
It's just like a tricky balance to find. So.
Yeah, you don't want to invite one group while alienating another accidentally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, you know, what can be helpful there, Cecilia, is continuing these conversations. We do have a copywriter who is going to be coming during one of our marketing weeks. And that might be a conundrum to throw at her and say, like, how would you spin this? What would you say a ways, you know, what are some words I could use that, you know, will help kind of pull this together without alienating them? That's tough. I am not the wordsmith in this group, so it's tough for me. That's more Kelsey and Jenny's wheelhouse, but I can see that that's difficult. What I would do is start continuously writing this out and working words, pulling them in and out and seeing what's working and what's not. Brainstorming is going to be key here.
I wonder about like a survey about like how people feel about it, like different terminologies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Great idea.
I wanted to kind of just add, because I kind of mentioned that if there was, personally for me, if there was modest clothing that was actually really nice, something for me is just being able to like, and I don't think it's black and white as in having morals, not having morals, but like more aligning with what I believe in when it comes to how I want to be perceived in the world. So we always tie, especially if you have a strong faith, we tie in morals and values with Christianity, with, Islam and all this kind of stuff. But someone that isn't necessarily religious could still have a certain value when it comes to how they dress or something like that. So that's definitely tricky because everyone has a different way of seeing it, saying it, perceiving it. So, yeah.
Awesome. It's a very good point, Ebony, and thank you all for sharing. I hope that, this revealed a little bit, for you guys, started to develop a little bit of clarity around how you're going to talk more about your product and service. So, key thing to remember here is, when marketing, what you should focus on, right? We focus on the benefits, and then the features kind of, those become our trust factors. Those are the builders. Those are the things that, like, okay, I'm considering you. And then, yeah, because of your features, I'm deciding to choose you. So make sure that the benefits are something that's really well fleshed out for you. But one last note, things to watch out for: buzzwords. So when discussing, unique features of your product or service, some of you might be tempted to use buzzwords like best, most advanced, highest quality, unique, latest. Buzzwords when you see them. How many world's best coffees are there in New York, for example? You know what I mean? So just be careful when you're using words like this. So make sure if you choose to use these terms, you need to define exactly how your product or service is the best or most advanced, okay? Because otherwise you just blend in to the competition. Which brings us to our next point. We're talking a little around competitive advantage. So the benefits of really knowing the benefits of your product or services from a customer's point of view is that it helps you determine your competitive advantage. Successful businesses differ in many meaningful ways from their competitors. You will not succeed just by copying competitors' products or services. If you can't do it better or different than your competitors, well, then you might just be wasting your time. So a significant difference in what you offer creates built-in motivation for customers to buy your product or service. So your venture's success depends upon its competitive advantage. So how do we define competitive advantage? Well, it is an advantage that your business has over the competition due to price, quality, superiority of the products and services that you offer. But what advantage do you actually have over the competition? Well, for some of you and some businesses, maybe you're competing on price. Can you sell the same product or service for less than others? Perhaps you can, but generally, as a startup, not usually. If you can't compete on price as a startup, then you should establish your differentiation as your competitive advantage. Your differentiator is the unique difference which influences consumer demand by setting your product or service apart from others by offering the same, by others that are offering the same thing you are. Maybe your location sets you apart. Perhaps you discovered a process by which you can produce the product or service more quickly than your competition. Maybe you've discovered a new way to offer the same product or service more conveniently. The customer has to perceive some difference in the features of your product or service that provides benefits not available from your competitors, okay? Whatever your competitive advantage, you must emphasize it in your business plan because others are reading the plan and they are going to be looking for this. How are you different than everything else out there? Okay? Customers are asking the same question as well. So here's an example. So what is the competitive advantage of Amazon Go Grocery? And for those, is there anybody who doesn't know what Amazon Go Grocery is? Ebony, Rachel, okay. So this is a new, basically the new way of grocery shopping in the future. So this is a test store from Seattle. So it's in test in quite a few different cities around the world. Basically, what you can do at an Amazon Go grocery store is same thing you would do at all other grocery stores, except you walk into the store, you grab what you want, and you just walk out. There's no paying, there's no lines, there's nothing else. That's it. No lines, no checkout, fast, efficient, easy. So I kind of just answered it. So when we're thinking, okay, what is the advantage of something like this? Well, they have first mover in the marketplace because it's completely new. Amazon has that bonus of having the money to create and test something like this, but they obviously have brand recognition. That's definitely a competitive advantage, right? They have that brand already established, so people will recognize this when they see it walking down the street. But the real advantage here is for them, how they're competing with other grocery stores: no lines, no checkout, fast, efficient, easy. That's how they're competing in this space, right? They don't have to go to groceries, but if they can pull this off, it could revolutionize the whole industry. So it's a huge competitive advantage for them.
So I don't understand how you pay for it.
That's the tricky part. So there's an app on your phone, basically. As long as you have that app on your phone, all the items that you pick up have like special codes. I don't know how the tech all works, but the items you pick up have like a code related to them or something to do with on the shelf. And as you walk out, there's a scanning system that basically calculates everything that's in your cart or in your bag. And it automatically calculates everything and charges you for it on your Amazon account.
That's crazy.
It's pretty wild, I know. Okay. Does anyone know what this business is just by looking at this picture? Here's a hint. Look at the mural carefully. Somewhere you've definitely probably been before. Anybody?
I was gonna say coffee shop or
This is a mermaid, if that gives it away.
Starbucks.
Hey, there we go.
oh my gosh.
So, yes, Starbucks. So what are some of Starbucks's competitive advantages? So, anybody?
They make you feel like when you go, I don't know, this is me because I rarely go there, but when I have money and I'm like, yeah, man, I'm just gonna be like that chic girl from LA, walking down the street, shopping with my girls, like it gives you that feeling. It gives you a feeling.
Yes. You nailed it, Jenny. You nailed it. I didn't think anyone was gonna pull on this, but that's exactly what I was hoping somebody would say. What you're talking about is an experience. It's the experience, and it involves a lot of things that Starbucks gives you. Experience is Starbucks' biggest competitive advantage. Experience is one of the most powerful competitive advantages for any industry. And no, we're not talking about years of experience in a certain field or a specific topic. Nowadays, customers want more than just a product or service. They want experiences. So if we think of Starbucks and the way it revolutionized the coffee industry, it was through experience. People used to visit coffee shops to just purchase their morning drink on the way to the office. Now they go to Starbucks to receive a coffee cup with their name on it. It's about the feeling you get to feel better about yourself and your day. You take a photo in the cozy environment that the company has provided here for you. And of course, you share it with your friends and family on social media. So there's a whole experience that is around Starbucks. So that is their competitive advantage. So I'm going to ask you guys, how do businesses typically differentiate themselves from the competition in your unique industries? Does anyone have any idea, anyone that knows and wants to share about their industry? How are your competitors differentiating themselves?
For me, in fashion, all the rage right now is like sustainability. So if you have like anything sustainable, that's like setting you apart.
Yeah, I just saw like this morning a new Levi's commercial, and I didn't even know what it was at first, and like I couldn't tell it was a Levi's commercial until the end. It was all about sustainability. So you're right.
Yeah.
So now when every company from big to small has decided that sustainability in fashion is the thing that they are going to talk about, how do you make that a competitive advantage if everybody else is doing the same thing, right? That's the question. Anybody else have any idea what's happening in your industry? Brittany?
Yeah, so for a lot of our competitors, like the products are the same, but if they offer like a service, then those might be different. So some of them offer instrument repair while others don't, and some offer private lessons. I know that one of them also has like a stage area that you can rent out.
Cool.
So it's like the products are the same, but the extra services.
So like the add-ons or the spin-offs are the advantages. right? So then you got to think to yourself, is that something you want to do too? And if you do, how do you make it different, right? How do you make it better or more unique? Thanks, Brittany. Anybody else?
Actually, going off the sustainability for a lot of vegan products, a lot of the ingredients, they've kind of gotten a bad rep in the past because they weren't like palm products, like palm oil and stuff like that, because they weren't sustainable. They were basically just ruining rainforests in the name of vegan ingredients. So a lot of people have, or some companies have really tried to change that image and planting or harvesting their palm products sustainably, because it's not an animal-based product. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing, Ashley. So still, again, even in food, it's about sustainability for sure. Tracy, you had your hand up?
Yeah, I was just gonna say like style, like image and video styles, and like, are they colorful? Are they like more diluted? Are they unsaturated? Like there's so many different styles, and I feel like that's where our industry is kind of, everyone's kind of everywhere, and you kind of have your own style, and businesses or customers will come to you for your style.
Would you also say though in your industry that price is a big differentiator? Because you're going to have video and photo work at one giant end of the spectrum all the way to the other, I would assume, right?
Yeah, so there's like a huge, we talked about this actually during my pitch, was like, who am I trying to like target? Or am I targeting like smaller businesses or larger businesses? Because like the difference is like very huge for price, because bigger companies are going to want more or longer commercials kind of thing. So yeah, price is definitely there, but I feel like between like people who are very similar, the price isn't much of a difference, as is the quality of image, because like there's a standard for price because of like livelihood, like so.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing, Tracy. So yeah, definitely like in an artistic kind of field, I think that style and that personality kind of comes through. It's kind of part of your differentiator, right? And I think anyone who's an artist, you're selling yourself, and people will come to you because they like that specific style. So you kind of have that unique differentiator as well. And that's going to be a huge factor in why people will choose you versus somebody else. Okay, we'll do one more with Evity, and then we'll move on.
How specific you are when it comes to your niche. So like if you have like consulting is really specific, but if you're consulting only business owners, that's one thing, but only business owners that are also having initiatives for like, so the more specific you are, I guess that's would really make like, especially in my industry, I know there's not a lot of people already doing that. But if I like becoming more specific, then as people enter into the field, I don't have to worry about the competition of it, because I'm not just helping Black business owners, but Black business owners that also are kind of aligned with the mission of my business.
So definitely niching down helps customers to identify you versus somebody else for sure. So if you're in a niche of a niche, Evity, that's great. It definitely helps them to understand like who you focus on. And I think every business should be very clear on that, of who they're actually going after and who they're targeting. And the clearer you are, the easier you can have a one-to-one message with that customer, and you're more likely to get their business. But you can't say that, just because there's no competition today doesn't mean there's not going to be competition tomorrow. So only using that as a competitive advantage will put you at a disadvantage in the future. So you need to make sure that you're thinking of other ways to set yourself apart from maybe no competition today, but if someone did enter, how are you better? How are you different? Okay. So some of the key points here, just to reiterate, is that market research, which you're all doing, including that thorough analysis of competitors from our SWOT that we talked about last week, the strengths and weaknesses, these are necessary to clearly identify your competitive advantages. It'll help you kind of brainstorm these things. And competitive advantages are directly related to your business's core competencies or unique assets as compared to the competition. These may include production or distribution efficiency, which allow you to offer lower prices. So that's something Steve probably knows a lot about in his industry. Could be specialized expertise that you have. So Evity as a consultant, Tracy and her husband as, service professionals as well. Or it could be, location, or, in Brittany's case, plentiful or hard to find resources with the cane that you're constantly sourcing, Brittany. So businesses often use, perceived value, location, convenience, customer service, reputation, or price, which needs to be backed by lower costs or productivity efficiencies to be sustainable if you're competing on price. Okay, that's a key thing to remember. So we're gonna do a little group activity here around product differentiation. Okay, Kelsey, you still here with me? Let me see.
Yep, I'm here.
Okay. Can you make me 2 breakout rooms? We're gonna just do, we're gonna do 3 groups. Do we have enough people for just 3 groups? Is that possible? Yeah, can we do 3 groups? Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna show you guys 3 products, and they're gonna be 3 products that are the same product, but they're from 3 different brands. And you're gonna go into your groups of 3, and I'm gonna assign each group one of these products, okay? You're gonna look at this product carefully for like a minute or 2, specifically focusing on the brand that your team is assigned. And then for 5 minutes in the breakout room, you're gonna brainstorm how that brand that you have to focus on differs from its competitors. And then you're just gonna prepare a short sales pitch identifying those differences. Don't be afraid to Google the companies and look them up to learn more for your brainstorm, but this is quick, it's gonna be 5 minutes, okay? So after, as a big group, we're gonna hear these pitches, and don't worry, they don't need to be refined pitches, okay? So here are your products. Do you have the breakout rooms ready?
Yeah, do you want me to name them like they
Yes,
each get
'cause I
one product?
Now that you created them, I can't see it. So if you can assign people, starting from the left with Del Monte, some corn. You guys are gonna be talking about corn, very exciting. Steve, you should know all about this, right? Are you guys corn? You guys are dairy, not corn. What am I thinking? Can't hear you.
We do grow some corn actually, so.
You have some cash crops?
Yeah.
Nice, nice. Okay, go ahead, Kels.
All right, so Del Monte is going to be Ashley, Evity, Maisie, and Tracy. Green Giant will be Brittany, Jenny, and Steve. And Great Value will be Brooke, Cecilia, Josh, and Rachel. Go to your rooms.
Oh wait, hold on, don't send them yet. Take a screenshot of this in case you forget which product is yours. Good luck, guys. Does anyone have questions? Too late. Bye.
Hope not. I named their rooms. So at the top, instead of saying like room 1, it'll say their products that they have.
Can you copy and send this to them in their groups?
You sent that privately to me, but they won't see it. We have to jump into their groups to do
Okay.
that.
Okay. I'll go in then. I'll just broadcast it to them all. There we go.
Yeah, that works.
You're also still recording. I don't know if that matters too.
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Yeah, you're gonna want to get this.
All right. Okay. We're back. Time to share the pitches about corn. Go for it.
I'm up. Okay.
Yeah.
So we know that canned fruits and veggies have gotten a bad rap in the past. Here at Del Monte, your health matters to us. We want to provide you a product that tastes as good as it would have if it were grown in your own backyard. Our corn travels less than 100 miles. I think it's Americans, so it's probably miles. Less than 100 miles to your kitchen table.
Damn.
I think that's it. Yeah.
Great job. A round of applause there. Great job, guys.
Ashley, the corn salesperson. I love it.
So if baking doesn't turn out, I know I can sell corn.
Hey, corn can be used for flour.
It's true. Make some delicious stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, group, who wants to go next? We had Brittany, Jenny, Steve.
I'll go.
Green Giant.
Okay. Green Giant has been canning corn for almost 100 years and ensure our corn is picked and canned at the peak of perfection in the field so you can enjoy the fresh taste of Green Giant corn year round. Trust us, we know vegetables.
I do trust you. I bet you do know vegetables.
Awesome. Great job, Steve. You guys killed it. How much of these are copied off the websites?
Oh, I took a good chunk of that off the website, I'll be quite honest. Yeah.
Yeah, like most of ours was.
Fair enough. Okay. And then our last group.
Copying off the website would have been a good idea, actually, now that I think about it.
Yeah, ours is handcrafted.
Okay, that's good. That's good. I want to hear what a handcrafted corn sales pitch sounds like.
So we went with kind of a one-liner style, and it's a little bit of an older marketing style, starting with the rhetorical question. I'll read it. Looking for a low-cost side dish to your meal? Well, if you have $1.07, then you can have 1/4 your daily dose of iron.
You done?
Yeah.
Awesome. That's good. You guys did great for coming up that on your own. I think that was awesome.
Keep going, Josh.
That was it. That's all I had written down.
Was there more?
They said no cob, no hassle.
Oh, I forgot to keep that in there.
We also had something about put it in your cart. You won't even notice on your bill.
Oh, yeah. I should have wrote all that stuff down. I thought that was joking.
That's awesome. You guys did a great job. Thank you for becoming corn salespeople for us. So obviously you can see from all three different pitches, even for those who copied off the website, they are the exact same product. In fact, you probably can't taste much of the difference, but each company is trying to focus on something different. With Josh's group, they're talking about low cost, right? You won't even notice it on your bill. With Steve, he's talking about, the tradition, 100 years, it's hand-picked and canned, and trust. It's all about that personal connection. And Ashley, I didn't take notes on yours, and I'm forgetting the differentiators that were identified there, but what was
Less
that?
than 100 miles to the table.
Yeah.
So for that, for Del Monte, it's more about, that farm to table aspect, local, less travel, less effect on the environment. So same products, all three of them are focusing on a different competitive advantage, right? So give me 1 sec. I'm just gonna switch my screen back here. So it's already hard to decide how to describe your business and your products and services. And sometimes it's very hard to distinguish the differences between brands, especially with commodities like corn. I'm sure Del Monte and Green Giant and the No Name brand here, they hired marketing firms to help with this, to write these descriptions. Comparing yourself to the competition, it's a great way to figure out what you are and also what you are not, which is a great way to start figuring out where you stand in the marketplace in comparison to your competitors. And that is important to understand. You need to be keeping a watchful eye on them to see how you're constantly comparing and contrasting to them so that you can always stay different. Coke and Pepsi have been competing for like 100 years. Both of them focus on different things when they market themselves, right? Coke stays number one because they spend more money, they do more research to keep themselves in that position and constantly differentiating themselves against their competition. Another thing to pay attention to here when we're talking about differentiation is the role that pricing plays, especially in the selection of corn and in the selection of other products. How you price your products or services can differentiate you among your competitors in the market, of course. When products and services are not highly distinguishable by their attributes or by their uniqueness, then pricing just becomes the key differentiator. Sorry, guys. But we have to be careful in competing just on price. Competing on price often feels like such a natural path to follow, but for most small businesses, it can be a road to ruin. Competing on price makes sense only when you have a cost advantage over your competitors. But the vast majority of small businesses don't have a fundamental cost advantage. So competing on price just ends up lowering your margins. So please be careful if that's a consideration you're making right now. So we're going to go into a body break in just a sec, but I just want to show you guys some tools that I'm going to add to up on FOL. I forgot I didn't add these three, or maybe I did. I'll have to double check. But these are three worksheets to just kind of help you in figuring out your competitive advantage, help you learn more about your competitors, figure out how you position yourself in relation to them. The first one here is a market space template. This helps you map out competitors, colleagues, and other players in the market. It's just a way to start brain dumping every, possible competitor, possible other entrant that you might know about or not know about in the marketplace. So this is a good visual. You don't have to use this template. You can just use it on a Word doc, but it's a great way to see, okay, who else is out there? This next template is now, okay, I see who else is out there. Who do I need to pay attention to? This is the market player information sheet. This helps us to not just, track competition, but also get inspired by tracking information about the other market players. We list here just key information that we have on them, and we use this to figure out what we can learn from them. So you list the market players, their rivals, they could be good competitors, they could be colleagues from other markets, and we list their products and services, we list things that we know about their customers, and then we list the things that, what do we learn about them? So this is kind of a different way to kind of, you're not necessarily approaching it from a SWOT analysis, strengths and weaknesses point of view. It's just more or less like, what can you learn from them and who are they? Who are their customers? So it's a great way to start just tracking that information. The last one that we have here is called a positioning map. This helps us compare our companies to the competitors on whatever key parameters are important to your industry. Every one of you should have one of these. By comparing your company to the competitors on specific parameters, you can decide how to better position yourself in the marketplace. So here we have just a couple competitive parameters here, experience, ability to deliver, cost, blah, blah, blah. But you can create a list here that, is directly related to your industry. What do people in your industry compete on? And you plot those across, you plot those across the bottom. And you can even change this template or these variables on the side, very weak to very strong, depending on what you're comparing them on, and just start to plot who fits where. The further you can get, away from everybody else, the better, right? You want to be in a position of, maybe very strong, very weak. It depends on the parameter, but the idea is to have a visual to see, okay, where do I stand in relation to them? So with that, we're gonna take a little break, take about, let's say 8 minutes, do a body break, and come back refreshed with a coffee or a water, and we'll get into talking about business models. Alrighty.
Dave, I have a question.
Around business models. So what we're going to talk about here, we're not going to get crazy into detail here, but we're just going to clarify what business model means, how it differs from business concept, and how it can help determine a strategic position within your business and against your competitors. So in our last module, we talked a bit about finalizing your business concept and then screening it for feasibility. Now you will extend it to become, going from business concept to now actual business model. Your business model explains who your customers are, what they value, and how you'll profit from providing them with that value through your product or service. So in other words, it answers, how are you going to make money? So a business model is the means by which your venture conducts its business. It is an extension of the business concept, and the same product or service may be brought to market with several different business models. For example, two businesses that sell the same product or service can have quite different business models. For example, Zappos and DSW. They both sell shoes and accessories. Zappos receives orders primarily over the phone or online and receives payments from the customer and then ships directly to the customer. Oh, is someone trying to jump in? No?
I think it's just some feedback.
Oh, okay, no worries. Now, while it does sell online, DSW is primarily a retail operation. They sell various brands of shoes and accessories to consumers who just visit their retail store. So for both companies, the choice of model has profound effect upon all aspects of their operations. So we look at existing models to evaluate which model is best for the business concepts we're developing. What components of each model make it work? How could you improve it? How can it be adapted to make your business better than the competition? These are things that we ask ourselves. With this type of evaluation, you can unearth the unique attributes of your business model. So some key considerations when thinking about your model. First, you always have to keep your customer in mind always. Everything we do in our business, we keep them front and center. You have to make sure you understand your value proposition from the perspective of the customer. You have to look at your production and distribution of your product and service to identify possible different ways that you could distribute and produce. And you need to look hard at your profit realization. Is there ways you can change your model to make more money faster or make more money over the long term? So there's lots of opportunity here. And I want to say, you don't be scared to innovate. Oh, all of us kind of go to the natural model. That's, what our competitors are doing in the industry. Oh, that's how they do it, so I'm going to do it the same way. When you start a business and you create your business model, you'll have to make quite a few assumptions as part of your business plan. You won't really know if your business model is a strong one, though, until customers actually start paying. This is why it is crucial to leave space for innovation in your future plans. Remember, your first business plan never fully survives its first contact with customers, right? You learn from what you put out there. You get feedback, you make some changes, and you go out again. So your initial business model and business plan, it's not a static document. You should keep reevaluating it and making changes where needed. So when thinking about your business model, there is obviously no need to create a whole new one. And indeed, nearly all companies actually use existing models, which then they adapt to their own needs and, to find a competitive advantage. Here we see a list of just some business models you can start to look at as you consider your model moving forward. There are definitely many more, and you should research and see what innovative models are out there in your industry and also in other industries. So, things like pay-as-you-go, franchising, advertising model, it can be subscription-based model, freemium, leasing. There's so many models out there. So and speaking of models, I also put a list on FOL of, I think, like 35 different models. I think a bunch of these are on there with definitions of each if you're looking for ways to be innovative and ways to be different. So keep a watchful eye on your industry, but also others for inspiration around your business model. New and innovative models are always coming around. If you watch the movie The Founder, you'd see there how McDonald's franchise system was an innovative business model when it was first a startup. Domino's, they revolutionized the pizza industry by being the first to offer free delivery. Zappos and Amazon broke new ground through their use of the internet and to reach the consumer and through personalization through data. Airbnb, right? The biggest accommodation provider in the world, and they don't own a single room, right? And Alibaba, they have no inventory, right? Long tail competitors like Amazon, they buy merchandise and they sell these to their customers by using their own infrastructure. Alibaba's main focus is just to connect buyers with sellers, right? They're a connection place. Let's look at something a little more interesting, something that's happened since COVID. I don't know if you guys are, anyone here familiar with Mr. Beast Burger? Raise your hand if you are. We got 1.5 kind of hands. Okay, so Mr. Beast Burger is quite an interesting case. They've opened 600 locations since December 19th, 2020, which is wild. It's insane. And I'm going to show you a little video. It's going to explain a bit more about them in just a moment here. One sec. Okay, can you guys see this video? Yes, no, maybe?
Yes.
Okay. Ha, there we go.
I just picked up lunch from Flanagan's, but my bag doesn't say Flanagan's on it at all. A new ghost kitchen operating here, bringing in much needed business.
I'm gonna spend the next 50 hours buried alive in this coffin. Probably the dumbest thing I've ever done.
He goes by Mr. Beast.
This bag is a burger and fries, and this bag is a ton of money in AirPods. So here you go.
And his followers adore him.
Money for you, money for you, money for you. You better come get a Beast Burger.
It's insane.
Insane because some of those 17 million people who follow Mr. Beast
Stacks of money.
found themselves heading to Flanagan's for a Mr. Beast burger.
You wouldn't have imagined it a year or so ago that you'd be using your kitchen for someone else's food.
Ben Stoneman, the owner, says he had no idea what he was getting into.
All of a sudden we were getting 200 orders a day.
A ghost operation, one you have to know about to order from. Flanagan's employees making the orders from a restaurant with no physical location of its own. Mr. Beast's online popularity is centered on age groups not old enough to drink.
Here you go, buddy.
And it's those kids who are driving business.
A friend of mine who has children in that age group kind of turned me on to it.
It's expanded Flanagan's reach and helped them through what's been their hardest year.
Actually, it kept us open.
Through shutdowns and capacity restrictions, Stoneman says Mr. Beast has proven to be just that.
We're the most staffed we've ever been in the kitchen.
A beast of a burger business hidden in plain sight.
We're just fortunate enough that we were the ones who got in on it.
If you do want to order Mr. Beast Burger, don't just call Flanagan's. You do have to download their app or order through something like Uber Eats or DoorDash, and you can do pickup if you want that as well. Reporting in Grand Rapids, Julie Dunmeyer, Fox 17 News.
One sec, guys.
Some dental problems cannot be solved by fixing teeth. Unfortunately, dentures are often not an acceptable.
Dentures commercial here. There we go. Okay, maybe bring you guys back on my screen here. Okay, so it's pretty interesting, to see how there's two kind of things happening there. One is, okay, Mr. Beast, this whole idea of cloud kitchens, ghost kitchens, definitely have the rise in popularity since COVID, right? But the other side of it is the impact that this unique model can actually have on the current businesses. You see the story from the owner there, it kept his business alive, right? So I don't expect you guys to be, inventing new business models here. What I was trying to point out is don't always play it safe. There is opportunity to be innovative and do things a little bit differently. So look for opportunities like this. Like opening 600 locations in a year is pretty wild and pretty interesting. Now, we don't know if this is sustainable, but it certainly is working right now for this industry. So I challenge you guys to not just, do the same old, same old. Is there something unique in regards to your model that you can add into what you're currently doing? Take a look at what else is out there, not just in the food and culinary industry, but also, in tech, in automotive, in fashion. There's things to be learned all over the place from other industries. And, you might be able to, Frankenstein that into your model and come up with something truly unique that really sets you apart from the competition. Okay, so we're gonna do a little business model activity here, okay? So you're gonna write down 3 different competitors on a piece of paper, on your computer, whatever. And you're gonna quickly just think about what their business models are. So write down your competitor, what their business model is. If you cannot think of 3 different models among your competition, then just brainstorm possible models from outside your industry that might work for your business concept. We're going to pair you up in just groups of 2, and you're going to just share your list. So we're going to do 5 minutes of brainstorming here. Think about your competition. So, and then, if you can't really get to the core of their model by memory, Google them. So you got 5 minutes, learn what you can about them really quick. If you only want to do 1, that's fine as well. And then just discuss and provide feedback about these models and how you might be able to apply different things to each other's concepts. So just try to give each other feedback, see what you learn, okay? Any questions? Okay. So we're gonna go 5 minutes right now. Go. And if you haven't figured out who your competition is at this point, this is the time where you start just at least looking around a little bit. And if your competition is doing the exact same model as you, look at something else that might interest you. Look at a different industry. One of our former, just building off that Mr. Beast thing, one of our former leapers who started a food truck is now doing the exact same thing as Mr. Beast. She just bought a community kitchen here in Komoka, literally around the street from my house. So Sylvia, who you'll hear from tomorrow, actually is going to come and talk to us. She's doing the same thing, but she's kind of taking it a step further. She's going to let other businesses also produce takeout and use the kitchen as well. So she's going to share the kitchen with other businesses that are struggling right now also. So it helped her, share infrastructure to be able to buy her first physical location rather than just having to use the truck. So sorry, I'll shut up now, guys. Yes. Britt, I will just go backwards here on the slides if you want. There you go. Okay, welcome back, everybody. Does anyone want to share what they learned, what they're thinking about, some new things they might be considering adding to their business either today or sometime in the future from a model perspective? Anyone thinking about doing something a little different?
I can share. I don't know if it's really different.
Sure, go
but
ahead.
I was saying to Cecilia, so most of my competitors have like retail space, not franchises, but just like retail space. And one thing that I want to do is to kind of like create like a marketplace of products that are similar to mine, like within the food industry, I guess, that you could put under the umbrella of, I guess, health foods, but like kind of like grab and go already made stuff.
That's awesome. I love that.
And then I was telling Brooke earlier, I want to do part of my business. I want to do like the mindful market. So just sort of like natural products and stuff that I would use and kind of, again, under the same umbrella. So she can make me private label candles.
I think that's great. I think, adding a marketplace element, great for marketing, great for brand awareness, help you test with your customers and, help drive more sales. I think it's a great idea, Ashley.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. Anybody else? I think Brittany, I saw your hand go up.
Yeah, so last week we started like a student discount program, which is like, it's very small, it's only like 5%, but like no one else has that at all. So that's one thing that we did. And then we're test driving, like just piloting price matching until like, we're just advertising it as like the end of July, but only for in-stock products and only for like Arcane, which is like what people always need. And then we're also doing, what we're looking into is like more subscription purchases of like supplies that you regularly run out of. And then also like a subscription kind of gift box around certain holidays, being like, do you have a bassoon player in your family? Like, here's a gift box that you can buy for them. So it's like super easy if you don't know what they do or like much about their instrument, you can just kind of like, so more for like the people who are buying gifts for musicians. So we'll have like specialty packages kind of ready for Christmas most likely, and maybe like back to school and graduation.
I think that's an awesome idea. Super smart, really smart idea. Would love to see what those boxes are going to end up looking like. I'm
excited because I want to wrap them all. So
I just came across a company like a month ago. They got me on like an Instagram like screen roll ad. They do custom like packages, like custom boxing, like for pretty good discount for like larger items and things like that. And I'm sure maybe Maisie you could talk with her, or maybe she knows a little bit more about packaging and boxing and things like that too. So that's super cool. Awesome, Brittany. Thank you for sharing. Anybody else? Last one wants to share? Anybody else doing anything crazy? Thinking of testing something out? Steve, I know you and Janan talked about bringing back the milkman, the delivery, man. That's unique. That's different.
Yeah, no, I mean, we're talking about it. We're looking at it. I mean, it requires like the critical mass of, committed people, but that's definitely something that is still on the table. So, it's like, I don't know. It's just in flux at the moment. So
I could see that. I think it definitely would need some testing to see if it's worth what it costs. But, in a time where everybody's dialing up or apping everything to their house, I think, to me, it makes sense. I think it'd be silly not to at least try it.
Well, that's kind of what we're thinking.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you everybody for sharing. I appreciate it. I hope you're starting to get, do some thinking around, Siri's yelling at me here, sorry. Doing some thinking around, these unique aspects that are going to make you different and make you stand out from your competition. So just some key points to consider. As entrepreneurs, there's basically two primary ways to differentiate yourself. Either by providing products and services that are different from the competition, or by providing the same products and services in different ways from the competition. It can always be boiled down to that. The key to strategic positioning is establishing a business that provides services or products in a way that is unique and valued by your potential customers. We focus on the business model early at this stage in the business planning process because it helps you consider all aspects that are going to go into the product and service plan section of your business plan. And tomorrow when Lena comes in, we're going to definitely talk more about like strategic positioning from a marketing perspective and a market perspective for your business. So now we're going to just jump into talking about the technical aspects of the business plan just briefly here. So we're going to review the major parts of a business plan, how to use the business plan template that's now available to you guys on FOL. And then we're going to look at who is the audience for your business plan. So the purpose of the business planning process and why we go through this, it's so that you can investigate all aspects of your business. It is not a rigid step-by-step blueprint document to follow. Instead, planning is actually much more like a roadmap that leads you, in a desired direction. A business plan will help you guide your business as you maneuver through the detours and the rough roads. So why create one? Well, business plans, they're living documents. They change as you receive new information about the performance or external environment of your business. In many industries, business plans may need to be revisited and reevaluated every few months, not years. Writing a business planning document is essential if you are serious about your business. It focuses thinking, it forces you to take an objective, critical, and unemotional view of your business. So the discipline of writing business planning documents is definitely a learned process that you will use again and again after this. So business planning creates a ton of benefits. So first, it helps you develop a successful plan for startup, and it guides you through the startup process. It forces you to consider all aspects of feasibility, even some you may otherwise have overlooked. Highlights strengths, exposes flaws in your business, uncovers hidden opportunities, provides guidelines to follow when you're operating the company. It helps you communicate your business concept to others. It clarifies your financial requirements, and lastly, becomes a powerful tool for convincing investors to provide money. Now, before you begin writing your plan, it's a good idea to examine business plans written by others, noting what works well and what could be improved. So in the readings for today that you now have, that you've downloaded, there is a reality check there on reality check called Business Plan Checklist. It's pages 159 to 162 for you to go through in your own time. This checklist helps you evaluate the strengths and weaknesses of plans with regard to style, format, and content requirements. When you've begun your plan, you can use this checklist to evaluate yourself against it as well. And you may find changes that need to be made. So I've provided, I think, about 6 different business plan samples on FOL, as well as your template. And then this checklist is in your reading from today, okay? So these changes that you possibly will make, they help to make your plan more readable, more concise, more complete, more fact-based, and hopefully error-free. And the sample business plans can be found under the FOL tab called, I think, Business Plan Resources. So just under the, when you're on FOL, under the Content tab, you'll see it on the left-hand side. So developing your business plan, obviously it involves thinking, researching, some evaluation, planning, and then lastly is the writing. But don't get hung up on writing the plan. The writing is actually easy once you've gathered what goes into each section. It's why we go through this plan, or sorry, go through this program step by step, step by action step. You're actually, as you do these things, you're completing all the pieces. So your business plan, essentially, written document, it's going to show your business model. It's going to show me about the opportunities that you've discovered. It's going to show me who your management and team is. And tell me about potential market value and the potential of the market you're entering into or currently in. And then it's going to show me the financial requirements of your business. It also will help identify any potential risks, problems, and trade-offs that you might have to consider. Now, you might use several types of business planning documents as your business develops. So the templates I provided are just some, the template I provided is a good one, but there's definitely other ones out there that you can use. So I've provided, I think, some other lists to other types of templates. So don't feel like you have to use ours. You can use others as well. So the business plan for a startup business used in this program, the one that we provided for a template, just has these main sections: cover page, table of contents, executive summary, management and organization plan, the product and service plan that we talked about today, marketing plan, financial plan, and then any appendices as well. So if you are an existing business right now, a business plan will include the same sections as a startup plan, plus it will include areas for operations, control systems, and growth. So an existing business plan plan also includes documents that reflect any financial history of the business. So if you're already in existence right now and you've already got a year under your belt, your financial history section and your finances will be a bit different. But if you're not, you haven't had a year under your belt, then it might be a bit more like a startup plan. So as I said, I've included the business plan templates to give you a jump start in producing your business plan. And this template's going to save you a heck of a lot of time because it comes with a lot of assistance for formatting, organizing, and presenting the information. I'll show you just a sec. You will start using the business plan template for action step 4.1, which was part of, you'll see it in the readings for today, action step 4.1. It's called Creating My Product and Service Plan. But you're going to continue to use the template as you progress through the rest of our key modules. There will be an Excel financial plan template that will walk you through several worksheets and then automatically generate financial statements to include in your business plan. But that'll come in a later module. So instructions for using the template are included in your action steps. So it will tell you in the action steps when you need to be using the business plan template. And I'll probably reiterate that to you in the future also. So this is kind of what the template looks like. You're going to load it up. I just wanted to point out a key thing here. There are instructions here. Please do not skip past the instructions because this is already pre-programmed and pre-formatted. So you'll notice here, the first thing that it says is all blue text is hidden. So there's actually instructions built into the template. It's all just hidden. To see it, all you got to do is click the little format button here on your Microsoft Word, and you'll start to see all the blue items populate. So for each section, there's a lot of detail. Okay, what goes here, what goes there. Some of the stuff we talked about today in the product and service plan, it'll be descriptions and definitions to kind of help guide you along, okay? So if you have any questions about that, if the template's not working, or if you're having any trouble, just let me know and we'll try to work through it together. So we're gonna go back to the template in just a minute, but I just want to talk a little bit about, the audience of your business plan. So obviously, as entrepreneurs, you have different reasons for writing a plan. Starting the business could be for raising money, it could be for growth, it could be for managing, that growth. But you may target different audiences for each of these different reasons. The term business plan, does not distinguish one type of plan from another. And as a result, some of you may neglect portions of the plan because our program discussions refer more to a generic plan, okay? For example, how would a banker's and an investor's approach to reviewing a business plan differ? What parts of the plan would each scrutinize the most carefully? So for a banker, they're going to be more concerned with the business's ability to repay the loan and gain interest. They would pay particular attention to the cash flow report and the balance sheet. Investors are more interested in the potential, ROI, or return on investment, as a result of your company's growth over time. So they are going to be looking, to pay particular attention to your marketing plan, as well as your income statement, particularly, items that will indicate sales growth. One thing to also remember, when reviewing a business plan, readers, they learn more than the details about the proposed venture. They also learn about you, the person or the team who prepared the plan. So don't forget to let you shine through also. Make sure that comes through in your in the section where you're identifying the people involved in the business. That helps to sell it. If you're looking for a house right now, how many people are writing letters to homeowners right now? That personal touch, that personal piece, it can shine through. And don't be afraid to also stylize it a bit. Just because I'm giving you a template doesn't mean that that's the way it's got to look in the end. That's just placeholders. You can throw it into InDesign and spice it up if you want, or whatever, Canva or whatever document builder you want to use. Lastly, don't forget that the business plan can also be used internally. Oh, I don't know why there's nothing on here. Oh, there we go. Internally for your organization. So the business plan can be used for your strategic decision-making, and it is also a guide for internal operations. I don't know why there's animations just on these. Whatever. All right, last part of what we're going to talk about today is just the action steps that we're going to identify. So you'll begin building your business plan section by section, as we stated earlier, starting with product and service plan. Although, as I said, it's not the first section in the plan, product or service is typically the first section prepared because many subsequent decisions are influenced by the product or service that you're offering. So the product and service plan is the first section that you're going to write. This action step, which is action step 4.1, create my product or service plan. It's on page 167 to 168 from today's readings. This combined with the rest of the planning and action steps in this program is going to start to build that business plan. So throughout the process of writing the plan, you will continually update previously completed sections from here on forward, okay? You'll probably find that you need to update the product and service plan later after some things that you're going to learn as more additional information becomes available. So for this action step, this is where you're going to actually start using the business plan template, okay? What am I going to do here? Sorry. So each section of the template contains headings with questions to prompt you to consider the type of information to include under each heading. So I'll show you what I mean here. Let me just switch screens. Can you guys see the Word document now? I just lost my video panel.
Yep, we can see it.
Okay. So these are all the headings. And then as long as you have this toggle switched on and off, it shows you just little prompts of what needs to go into these areas. Okay. To insert your text, all you do is you just click on insert text and start typing away. It's already pre-formatted for you. Okay. The same with the table of contents and everything else, any appendices. So it's already, it's super easy to use. Okay. Let me go back here. Can you see my slide now? Yes? Oh, okay, sweet. I didn't know I could switch back and forth that easy. Cool. So as you enter your answers into the template and you decide maybe you want to print them out, the questions in blue there, they don't appear on the hard copy, so don't worry about that. You can leave all that stuff there. You don't have to delete it. And you should try to incorporate enough of those questions that you see in blue into your answers so that the reader understands what is being answered, okay? Because those will be deleted, make sure if you're using and incorporating that in, it's framed correctly, all right? So for the product and service plan, these are, what you see on the slide here is just the headings that you're going through. So first thing you're doing is what we first talked about in our presentation today, the purpose of the product or service. We're talking again about what's the problem, what's the need, what is the purpose of what you're offering. You list your features and benefits from the customer's perspective. What stage of development are you in? Are you at, working prototype, MVP? You doing small production runs? You doing full manufacturing and production? Or it could be more about your life cycle stage. If you're already in business, are you in, conception? Is it growth phase, maturity? Where are you in relation to kind of your stage of development? For product and service limitations, we're talking about, any limitations that can, or restrictions that you might have that should be, known to you and anybody else that might be reading your business plan. So, if you're a food product, is there perishability, limited shelf life? Are there legal restrictions that you have for your industry, like Steve and Janan are facing? Staff availability, so anything that you would consider a limitation. For products and service liability, we're talking, insurance requirements and costs. And you're talking about how can liability be reduced or eliminated. Under production, what's the production process? How much of what you produce is done internally? How much is subcontracted out? So if I'm Evity, at one point in her model, I know it's changed a few times, you were talking about a lot of like working with partners and subcontractors and different things like that. So this is where you would describe kind of those relationships with these other individuals you're working with. All right, guys. For facilities, that one's pretty straightforward. If you have one, where is it? What is it? What's involved in it? Suppliers, list them all. Tell me about them. Who are they? How long you had a relationship with them? Related products, services, and spin-offs. Well, what are you doing now? What are you gonna be doing? So what's coming down the pipeline? New products and new services in the future you're considering offering. Brittany already just told us about some new stuff that she's considering in the near future. And then last parts are about trademarks, patents, any copyrights you have, any licenses, royalties, or government approvals. So do you need food safe? Do you need any other type of permitting and things like that? That stuff's got to go in here too. Okay. So actually, I'll show you really quickly. Let me just switch screens here. So in the in FOL, I've got a couple other sample business plans here. So if you're looking, okay, what goes in here and you want to see a couple differences, all of these plans are already filled out for you. So you can go through and kind of review and get a little bit of inspiration. This one's Carpe Diem, another one called La Verja. And you can go through and just read through their product and service. And all the different of the 6 plans are all quite different under the product and service plan. So lots of different examples. I've also provided some other business plan template builders that have prompts and other things too for your consideration if you're having a hard time. There's the Futurepreneur one, there's one from BDC, and there's a few others on there too. Okay, so let's put this out to the group here. Do you think based on the list we just talked about here, are there any items for your product and service plan that you're feeling are going to be difficult to answer? Anybody feeling a little nervous about that right now? Let's go back to that list. Yeah.
I'm worried about, because like right now I'm selling masks, right? But like I'm gonna be doing costumes and I don't really know how to explain that.
Well, I would like, is your plan to be a mask selling business or do you want to be a costume selling business?
Well, I mean, masks are gonna be around like a while. So like, why would I give up that money, right?
So then, yeah, I think it's both, right? Like, so you have multiple products. So you're gonna have to build it to incorporate both aspects of the business. So, you know, for the costume side, right, you're still more in the early life cycle stage because you know, essentially the market is at kind of a freeze until events can happen again, right? But I think you can still build the whole plan for it as well.
Okay.
So Jenny, I feel like I'm in that situation too. We're looking at like live streaming weddings. And so we've actually like made a side business just to kind of take care of that. So then it doesn't clash with our brand. So like that could be an idea if you like wanted to rebrand for just your costume designs, like when it starts picking up. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions?
I think I'm just getting a little stuck on the government approvals. Like, I just, like, I know kind of the basics. Like, I obviously need to have food safe, like my food handling certificate and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I think because I'm subcontracting or like I'm using a commercial kitchen, like I don't necessarily know, and like they've taken care of all of the liability and like insurance and stuff like that, I guess.
Is that your plan to, so that's your current model, right? So
right.
If you're planning on staying with that for a while for this business plan, that's fine. So include that, you know, like, so for you, you know, your approvals, you know, more are just going to be around your own personal food safe, right? And, you know, you're letting the facility take care of the rest of the regulation around that, you know, being a kitchen and everything that comes with that. So then, you know, but then maybe a year from now or whenever, maybe sooner, when it's time to maybe go into your own space, then you would, you know, adjust this section of your plan.
Do you know of any like resources where I could look for that information or?
Around what other permits you might need?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can use BizPal.
Okay.
BizPal is a tool. Basically, you just type in kind of the type of business you're, put in parameters about it into the website, into the search bar. It will tell you about all sorts of different regulations and licenses. You can also speak with the gentleman at, is it Service London Business? I forget is that what it is, Kelsey? Yeah, Service London Business. There's two gentlemen over there. You'll most likely hear from them during the duration of Leap In later towards the end. And they help with all of that, like with permitting and things like that. They're pretty well versed in that kind of regulatory knowledge.
Right. Yeah. Because eventually, like when we're allowed to have pop-ups and markets and stuff like that again, that all these events, I know I'll need extra permits for that kind of stuff as well.
Good.
Dave, is their website still active?
What's that?
That website of theirs still active?
Service London, it's kind of confusing. Yes, the website is there. Yes.
Okay.
And they are checking it. So the email that's attached to it, yeah, it is all still active. I had to ask that. I asked them that exact question actually recently.
So you can just find them on Google, Ashley. If you just Google Service London Business, you'll find them, but they have a lot of information on their website as well.
Amazing. Thanks.
Is anybody else, any troubles with any of these items here on this list?
For me,
talk about
that stage of development, especially because over the past couple of years, I've done so much. So even if I'm just now establishing this as a business, as I go through it, I'm like, oh, I've done this before. I've just never done it as an actual business. So trying to see, okay, what model am I using so that I'm not doing a whole bunch of stuff in this small because I tend to do a lot of stuff.
You know that.
So I'm just trying to figure that out. I do have like that running list of features and benefits have been helpful, so that I can kind of narrow down what exactly I'm doing. So that's kind of where I'm at for now, but I can still see how this can go so many ways.
Just keep it simple. Awesome. Thank you, Ebony. Awesome. Okay. So switch view here. There we go. So how will your product and service plan for a service business differ from a product business? So that's a question that you might be asking yourself, because there are some of you here that are services, some of you here that are products, but mainly it's around questions related to limitations, liability, production facilities, and suppliers. These areas for a service-based business may not be relevant, okay? And that's okay. If there's something in here that's not relevant to you in your business, leave it out, okay? So I think, all right, just put it here. If any section does not apply to your business, you should not include it in your plan, okay? The questions in blue in this template, as I said, this is a key point. They don't appear in print. So make sure to write your answers so that those questions will be, so that your answer will be understood without the questions, okay? Last part, action step 4.2. That's on pages 169 to 170. This is writing the financial assumptions for your product and service, okay? This is something that you're gonna do a little bit, this will help you with the financial plan template that we're gonna do later in the program, but this is gonna help you to start preparing your financial projections and your statements. So starting with this module, you're gonna use the financial facts worksheet. That was located in the readings from yesterday, page 128 to 134. It's a worksheet. It's the very last thing in the readings. And you'll just see, it's just this document that's got a bunch of blank spaces with a whole bunch of different headings here, okay? By using the, you'll use this worksheet to accumulate notes and information as you research the types and amounts of expenses for your business. By using the financial facts worksheet in each module, you'll have complete and accurate information in one place when you begin inputting expenses or expense information into the financial plan template later in the program. So using the financial facts worksheet to estimate, we use these worksheets to estimate costs for the product or service aspects for your business. Each worksheet heading here in the list suggests possible costs to consider. Now, not all headings here are going to apply to your business. So think about how each one does apply to your business, and in particular to your vision, of that business for the future. You write your assumptions on the worksheet or in your business plan template. So the assumptions are, what you've decided you're going with. So base your answers not just on the assumptions, please base your answers on facts and document sources, and make sure to document sources for anything that is an assumption. So make sure, you allow yourself enough time to do your research. So if you go through this list the first time, there's a lot of stuff missing that actually applies to your business. Give yourself time to do this research. You might want to talk with, experts in the industry, your peers here, suppliers, vendors, other professionals, who serve the industry a little better than you do, to help determine appropriate costs, okay? Also, make sure to understand that things increase over time. So you might be making assumptions now, but as we know, in a lot of industries now, costs are constantly jumping up. If you're in the construction and trades industry right now, builders can't even do pricing of homes correctly because things are just changing almost on a weekly basis. So make sure to, account for increase of costs over time. So completing your financial facts worksheet now while you work on your product and service plan is going to save you time later when you're going to have to fill out that financial template and make your actual financial projections. Okay. Okay. So key points here. You should document your sources for each and every assumption you make. and make sure to allow enough time to do your cost research, okay? A well-prepared product and service plan lays a solid foundation for the development of the rest of the business plan. Okay, with that, it's time to wrap up what we went over today and send you on your way into another beautiful, what looks like a beautiful day outside. I'd like to go enjoy that myself. So what did we learn today? We learned that features describe the product or service and benefits describe the value of the product and service, but always from the customer's perspective. We learned that having a good understanding of your competition plays a major role in understanding your value to your customers. We learned that the product and service plan certainly has significant implications for the finances of your business, and that your business plan should be tailored to focus on the needs of your intended audience, like a banker, like an investor, like a possible partner, okay? So homework and action steps. First thing to do, complete your daily survey of me. Appreciate it when you guys do that. Action step 4.1. Remember, you don't have to complete it before next day by any means, just something to get started on. Is beginning the business plan by doing action step 4.1, create your product and service plan. So begin early to research the questions related to regulations. Sometimes the answers are tough to get. Suppliers, limitations, and liabilities, because those ones are always, you're always going to wait on somebody else to get those answers, okay? Those are the harder ones out of all the aspects of the product and service plan. As you acquire information, you can revise this section of your plan over time. Action step 4.2, writing your financial assumptions. So start researching the financial costs of your product and service. Document those assumptions clearly on the financial facts worksheet so that they can be reviewed in light of later information and added to the financial template in the later modules, okay? And then read day 10 for next week, for Tuesday, researching and analyzing the market. Next week, we're slowly getting towards marketing and sales, which is always my favorite part of the whole program. So it's coming and we're getting closer. So yeah, the reading will be posted later today when you want to bite into that. But I'm sure most of you probably haven't done the one from today, so it'll be up there. So with that, I thank you for your attention. I thank you for your time. And I hope I provided some type of value to you today. If you want to stick around as always and ask questions, please do so. But if not, that's totally okay. Go off into your day, enjoy yourselves, and we will see you back here tomorrow for 1 p.m. with guest speaker Lena Manuel, who will be teaching us about brand positioning. Awesome. Have a lovely day, everybody. Kelsey, anything else you want to add?
I think great job today, Dave. I think we learned a lot about our features and benefits, and I'm glad we got an overview of our business plan because we know we're presenting that at the end of this program. So now we at least know what it is we are presenting. So that's very exciting. A note for all of you, I won't be here tomorrow. So if you have any questions for me, you should hang out afterwards. Otherwise, I will see you next week. I am getting my vaccine, and so I have a good reason to not be here, and I'm very excited. But you won't see me tomorrow, but I'll be on Discord if you do need me. Woo! Exactly. Thank you, Brooke.
Awesome.
Cool. All right. Well, with that, you all have a lovely day. Again, I think it's time to get outside. I hear it's supposed to rain tomorrow, so please make the most of this evening if you have a chance to do so. Brittany, I'm looking at you. You said you didn't get outside at all yesterday. Get outside.
Get some of that vitamin D.
Yeah, exactly. It's good for you. With some sunscreen. All right. Have a good night, everyone.